Felicitations, aficionados.
Today's subject, slavery.
Do you like animals? Do you like petting and loving them from the bottom of your hearts? What if you were living in a reality where these friends of yours could gather and craft commodities that you could use throughout the adventure you call life? What if, instead of training them for years, these friends, pals if you will, had predetermined skills they excelled at, such as handiwork, agriculture, transportation, and many more jobs people died for in ancient Egyptian times? What if making these pals your friends was as easy as making a multi-million-dollar company fume, mold, and sue your ass? Which is done by throwable spheres to catch the wildlife around you, with a set chance depending on the sphere you use. After being filed a lawsuit, it becomes the time for you to enjoy this experience. This experience is named Palworld. You start with creating your character. In this instance, my world is named Animal Abuse Land, and this anime character is Mr. Pita. What's the story? You are shipwrecked on an island and you see an ancient high-tech tablet state one thing: towers are the key. So, you get up and find out that this game is just another open-world survival craft slop, but with a twist. It has dinosaurs, Pokemon scattered around everywhere which you can capture and make them fight for you. Or, they can also be the source of EXP and your survival. You punch trees, gather stones, craft tools, and build your base. But what is this? You're allowed to put pals to your base. And when you do, they instantly start doing hard labor, no questions asked. This was a surprise to see that this was an express delivery to slavery. But as you are aware, we are merciful gods. Our slaves get to have a place to eat, a place to sleep, a place to go cave diving. But most importantly, a hot bath which they love to be in. Which shows that these wildlife animals are a lot more civilized than Smash and Yu-Gi-Oh players. After building your base, you require more levels to expand and upgrade your base, which unlocks the technologies needed for you to thrive in the wildlands. Best way for Mr. Pita to get EXP is to capture up to 12 pals of each kind. However, getting EXP is not the only way to expand and exterminate. You will need to find precious metals you need to craft more advanced stuff. Your progression will be slow, but it will be fun. You capture pals, you upgrade your base enough for the game to let you allow to build more bases. You search a suitable area, preferably near precious ores, and your slavery horizon gets expanded. Fast travel between bases are available, and your character is the physical manifestation of Atlas, since they can carry any amount of weight on them without being crushed to a mush. If you carry too much stuff, you will only be able to walk very, very slowly. But that doesn't matter after you invent the weeaboo culture and craft a katana. Unlike other melee weapons you beat pals with, like a baseball bat, katana tries to be anime and sucks at fighting enemies, but it is a very useful transportation tool when you are encumbered. Also, do you like Genshin Impact or Breath of the Wild? Because the stamina system is built exactly like those two. If you see a vertical wall or landscape, you can climb it, as long as you can endure it. This becomes unimportant when you get a flying pal which ignores the limitations of your frail human body and the saddle. Pals you find and capture in the wilds have elements to them, which the general combat idea is using effective ones against others. They may have fireballs, cutting wind attacks, lightning strikes, and whatnot. But do you know what you have? Bullets and guns, which is the proof that humanity will always be superior. However, in this island, your concern is not only on wildlife, but on other humans as well. Save pals from other slavers, kill terrorists, trade, hunt bounties, raid oil rigs. Possibilities are limited, but they are there. After some time, you remember what the game told you at the start. Towers are the key. So, you start going to the towers and they are basically raid boss fights. Problem being, they are not balanced for single player. And my copy of the game and lack of friends willing to play made me play it single player only. But we thrive on difficulty. Bosses are as follows: generic gamer girl, foot fetish ice girl, generic cool dude, generic rich guy, generic mandatory Asian girl, and currently the last boss, which I didn't reach. Reason will be explained. Journey to beating these bosses is a long one. Because to upgrade your arsenal, you need to upgrade everything generally, and it usually comes around to the which ores you have available. You start with ore ingot, to refined ingot, to palmetal ingot, to plasteel, to hexolite. And you need your fire pals kindling skills to produce them. After you are done with that, you still will need some sulfur and charcoal to make gunpowder. Because you need to craft, or make your little friends craft, every bullet individually. To craft better stuff, you need better stations. You simply can't expect to get a palmetal ingot in a primitive furnace. You just can't, okay? You kill bosses one by one, and realize this still is an early access game. There is no ending. That's why you start building a mega base, and put a guild chest to all of your bases, so that every single base's resources are now linked. See, this very health factory I made has a place of command, chests to gather things in, mines and plantations to outside for infinite resources, furnaces and assembly lines for weapons and materials. By the way, this game doesn't require you to have things in your inventory to build stuff. It is so godlike. Just stay inside the range of your base, and everything that are in the chests are basically counts as in your inventory, for both building and crafting. As for pals, there are quite many of them. Are they similar to Pokemon? Yes, but for some reason, instead of suing every single creature collector game like Spirit Valley, they only go for this one. For every Pikachu, you have Sparkit. For every Charizard, you have Foxfire. And for every Squirtle, you have Fog. Similar, but original. Also, if animal slavery is not something you really enjoy, how about some old school slavery? Because you see, Palspheres do not discriminate, and capture anything that has a pulse. In the explanation of human pals, it's stated that it is inhumane to capture them with a sphere. If this also doesn't work, you can imagine pals as furries, and you will feel no remorse when you tire them out or butcher them. Also, as into why I didn't complete the current content, I lost my equipment to extreme cold, and I couldn't retrieve it. To survive in that extreme cold, I had to produce a shit ton of plasteel, which requires crude oil. 5 crude oil per plasteel. To support an oil extractor's power demand fully, you need to have around 3 advanced power generators. And when you have it, just check for yourself the speed we gather crude oil at. A minigun requires 70 plasteel. With the armor amount, I'm not waiting for this. Check the current final boss on YouTube if you will, but my Slaymaster journey comes to an end for now. I rate this game with a fitting score for open world survival craft genre with a twist. Go ahead and try it. It's an experience. Paying your hard-earned cash for the game would also make Nintendo mad as a plus. I thank all my patrons for their support. I also need to mention we now have memberships available if you hate Patreon. This is your chance to motivate me in exchange for a few emotes and my endless gratitude. I also thank you all for watching. Have a nice Chad Slave Master day.